Hello, current or future language learner. I hope your day is great so far, because this video is about to make it even better. Today, I want to talk about a pretty common question in language learning. How can I learn a language without spending any money? Is that even possible? Let's explore that question and more. Most of the video will be a dive into how you can learn a language using only free materials, but at the end, I'll explore what the best options are if you were able to spend $10, $20, or $30 per month, just in case you have a little extra cash. But first, a quick disclaimer. It's borderline impossible to spend nothing on anything related to language learning. If you don't have an internet connection, a functional computer and phone, or other similar materials, this video won't help you. But that's more of a reality of the world we live in. For this video, I'm assuming someone has a reliable internet connection, a computer, and enough food, water, and shelter to not be constantly worried about survival. And I specifically said computer and not smartphone there since, as far as I know, there aren't great free tools for phone-only users. There absolutely are plenty of apps and things, but they're almost always paid since developing for mobile devices generally costs a lot more. If you cannot get access to a computer, you absolutely still can learn, but you'll have to settle for less streamlined or freemium resources, which are constantly trying to get you to upgrade. I'm also focusing on 100% legal options for this video. If you're willing to sail the 7 seas and download movies and books without permission, that's up to you. But I'll only be covering things that naturally don't cost money to use. And one final disclaimer, convenience and polish almost always cost real money. While there are tons of great free tools out there, pretty much all of them have something wrong with them. Either they're not universal, there are bugs, they're hard to use, they're hard to install, etc. Most of them are made by 1 or 2 people in their off time. Development and creation takes a lot of time, like a lot of time. And since most people don't have hours and hours to spend every day on a free project, you'll have to make up with that for some of your own time. So if you really want to spend $0, it's totally possible, but you need to spend a little more time fixing and fiddling with things. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into it. First, a little theory. The main thing you'll need is exposure to the language. So finding content will be our #1 priority. Thankfully, this website is a true marvel. YouTube has so much content in so many languages, it's crazy. If you're learning a language with more than a few million speakers, you'll be able to find a mountain of content totally for free. Well, you're paying by watching ads, but you don't need to get out their credit card. So that's the first thing you'll want to do. Make a YouTube channel, not account, channel, and set its preferences to be only in your target language. You'll also want to do some digging for comprehensible or beginner channels to get you started with. Check out the Comprehensible Input Wiki for a pretty extensive list. The Refold community also has lists of YouTube resources, so check that out at refold.link/join. But Ben, you might be shouting at your screen, how can I watch videos in a language I don't understand? Why is this the first thing on your list? And that's a good question. If you're just starting out in your language journey, then you won't understand much, if anything, in a video made for natives. But there are a few tricks to help. The first is called a meta layer, which basically gives you a heads-up display with useful information and tools. A great free option is Language Reactor. It's plug and play. Install the extension and reload YouTube. Now you can pause and hover over the subtitles and get instant definitions and see the stuff on the side. It works best with channels that have handmade subtitles, but the default ones work just fine. There are some paid features of Language Reactor, but we're ignoring those for this video. The other method for understanding from day one is by preparing yourself for the language. The way you do this is by learning words and phrases first, and then going out and noticing them in the content. Sure, you're not going to understand everything, but that's impossible on day 30, let alone day 1. Focusing on small steps is how you eventually make it to the top of the mountain. Keep this sentence in your mind. Focus on what you do understand, and don't worry about what you don't. At least, not until you understand more than half. You can prepare yourself with lots of different things. Duolingo, Anki, or even just a word list work great. My favorite is Anki since it's customizable, flexible, and free. You do need to make your own flashcards, however. That's the downside. But I've made several videos on Anki and what we call sentence mining. That's where you grab words and sentences from videos and then study them. Then you go out and look for those in future videos. It's actually super useful, but it requires something like ASV Player instead of Language Reactor. I made a whole tutorial on that, which you can watch for more information. Oh, and by the way, in the description, you can find a page with all the links I'm mentioning for easy access. Okay, so we've got a way to find video content, to prepare ourselves, to actually notice and hear words. What's next? For me, the next thing is a way to read. Reading is a very important part of my language acquisition. It's a great way to sit down and really sift through the language and feel it. But like YouTube, you can't just go to the library, get a book in Dutch, and then start reading. You won't understand anything. So I recommend reading with a reader specifically for language learners. Lute is the best free option I know of. Again, there's a whole tutorial here or down in the description. But it's basically a way to read things, but you add and save definitions for all the words to make it an easier learning experience and to remember what they mean. And since we're not spending any money here, you can find free stories on amateur fiction sites like Wattpad.com. They actually make for great learning material since they tend to be written by younger authors who don't use as many words. They do also have a few more typos than professional books, but ChatGPT solved that issue pretty well. Or you can find a blog in your target language. And honestly, if you were to use those three-ish things, YouTube, Lute, and Anki, you'd be able to get to fluency. Technically, that's all you really need. But there are a few more things that make the journey easier and better. First, I really do recommend you track the time that you spend with your new language. It might seem stupid or nerdy, but it's really useful. Being able to look definitively at how much time you've spent on the language helps you be real with yourself and know how much you've done. If you're constantly just going off your vibes, you're going to be disappointed and potentially frustrated. Language learning takes a long time. Even if you only track for your time for a few hundred hours, that's still useful. Check out my Toggl tutorial for a deeper look. At some point, you may also want to branch out into podcasts. They're a great way to get more language into your brain. And they're free. I like using Pocket Casts, but most podcast apps are free. Just keep in mind that you probably won't be ready to listen to native podcasts until you've learned for at least 800 to 1,000 hours. But if you can find something made for learners, go for it. They use much more accessible language and have you in mind. I also want to shout out this channel. If you're not already subscribed, you really should be. Every week, we release videos including tips, tools, and discussions about language learning. Everything I've mentioned so far has a tutorial on this channel, and I'm sure you'll find more amazing options in the future that aren't in this video. And while you're down there subscribing, I'd really appreciate a like. They make me happy. If you're new to our style of language learning, you might notice something missing. What about grammar, speaking, and writing resources? How do I practice that? Well, to sum it up in a few words, you don't. At least not yet. See, through everything we've learned about learning a foreign language, no matter your age, you need to understand before you can speak or create language. Some people even go as far to say that speaking and writing too early can actually harm your future abilities. But that's still under investigation and debate. However, even if it doesn't harm you directly, it does cause a few problems. First, it's stressful and not very fun. You don't know what you're doing yet. And lastly, it takes time away from other more useful things. Imagine for a second that you've never heard of rugby, and suddenly you have to play a professional match in an hour and you're the team captain. No matter your natural athletic ability, it's going to go terrible. You've never seen what a game looks like, let alone know all the rules. That's what it's like trying to have a conversation right away. But no one is forcing you to. In the beginning of the process, I'm talking for at least 500 to 1,000 hours, you shouldn't worry about trying to produce language. Just release that stress out into the world. If you have to say some things here and there, or you want to greet somebody you know, or if a word just pops into your head, go for it. But trying to sit down to actually have a conversation before having understood hundreds and hundreds of hours of the language is just stressful and a general waste of time. Just to make this video a little more complete though, here are some tools I recommend for learning to write and to speak as soon as you're ready. Journaly is a great place to keep your writings and get corrections. ChatGPT does a great job at helping you with your writing and giving you things to think about. HelloTalk is a pretty good site with lots of ways to meet natives, and Discord is full of communities in hundreds if not thousands of languages, all of which can be used without spending a penny. Or you can start a personal blog. I recommend bearblog.dev since it's free, simple, and easy to use. Okay, let's take a step back for a moment. I've just dumped a ton of sites onto you, but what the heck are you supposed to do with them? Like I said a little bit ago, you basically just want to find 3 activities, do those every day, and then repeat for about 1,000 hours while consistently increasing difficulty. After that, you add in some harder materials and start practicing writing. that incorporates speaking at around 1,500 hours, and that's honestly all there is to it. You can make it a lot more complicated than that if that's your jam, but you don't really need to. If you want to see some more concrete examples, I've been learning Czech and documenting my process here on YouTube. Be sure to check out the playlist to see how I'm actually doing it. And if you're super new to this whole immersion learning thing, I highly recommend you check out our 6 Secrets email sequence that we have on our main website, refall.la. It's totally free, and over the course of a week or so, it gives you a fantastic breakdown of why we recommend what we recommend and how you can implement it. Now, before I go, what are some options for spending a little bit of money? If I had $10 per month to spend, I'd probably look for a streaming service that's around that price. In many countries, YouTube Premium is about that much, but you can also look for country-specific services to help you find more content. I pay for a Czech service which runs me about $7 per month. Another good option is to look around for creators that make content for beginners like you. Dreaming Spanish charges $8 a month and is possibly the best Spanish learning resource there is. Or for $5 a month, Comprehensible Japanese has several hundred extra videos and tons of other perks. There isn't something like this for all languages, but it doesn't hurt to check. With $20 per month, I would start looking into ways to make my learning easier and more fun. Probably just the same as the $10 per month option, but with the rest going to things like nice table lamps, pillows, or other things that make your learning space more comfortable. This is also the point where it might make sense to save up for larger purchases. For example, the beginning of the process can be done for free, but you could jumpstart it with one of our beginner refill decks. That would last you 3 months, and in those few months, you can start saving for a used Kindle or a book. Or if that's not your cup of tea, you can look into a paid service like Link, LingoPie, Language Reactor Premium, etc., etc. Lots of those are quite good if you're looking for more polished programs, or something for mobile devices. And with $30 per month, that's where the world can really be your oyster. You can save $20 per month for larger purchases while also supporting your creator or maybe even something else. Or you can get 2 premium services and be able to use your phone more and learn while out and about. But honestly, no matter how much you want to spend, there are a few things that are actually important. A good beginner resource, and then helping yourself stay focused on the language. As long as your purchases are going toward that, I don't think you can go wrong. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. I hope you liked it and learned something. I know I couldn't be quite as detailed as I'd like, so if you still have more questions, definitely check out the links in the description. There's a ton of different stuff that will help you find answers to pretty much anything. But if it doesn't, let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and happy immersing. Hey, as you know, there's a lot of language learning advice out there, which can make it kind of overwhelming and difficult to actually get going on your own learning. If you feel like you're struggling to figure out language learning, you're not alone. It's an extremely complicated process with tons of different steps. If you're looking for a step-by-step guide to create the perfect language learning routine for you, then you have to check out our new course. We spent thousands of hours designing a simple and straightforward process that you can use to create your own personalized language routine that actually works. We understand that every learner is different and that you have to roll with the punches and adapt. Every day for 30 days, I walk you through everything you need to know to build an effective learning routine, no matter your circumstances. We give you the advice and resources you need to ensure your success, so you don't have to waste time looking for stuff to do and can focus on learning. And if any questions do come up, don't worry. We are always there to answer any questions and clear up confusion. And it's all backed by our 90-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If, for whatever reason, something's not quite working for you, we insist you get every penny back. It's time for you to stop wishing that you could learn a second language. It's time to become the master of your language learning journey. Check out the link below to get instant access and start your journey today.